Hello, everyone. Welcome to Crickets in a Bedroom. No more. We have John Gray to save the day. We are creating delicious, sexy love instead. Welcome, John Gray.
I'm so happy to be with you again. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, God, I love you so much. And whoever came in touch with your books, I believe they were revolutionary for their understanding of themselves as partners. Thank you for writing.
Oh, you're so welcome. And thank you for sharing that. It means so much to me.
Yeah. And I noticed that many people, when they talk about relationships, they kind of have their idea and they just stay stuck with it through a couple of books. You are the only one that actually grows through the changes between feminine and masculine.
Mm.
You're not talking just about a happy barefoot in a kitchen woman. You are also talking about what's going on with our hormones and everything through the years, modern times. So before we go into nitty gritty of this, can you tell us about how do you see the transition of what's going on in the world in the last maybe 100 years or 50 years?
Everything's a little paradoxical. First of all, I feel right now we have the potential for the greatest passion and romance ever in history. And yet, with every opportunity, there's blocks to it. We haven't learned how to access that potential. What we had the potential for in my parents' generation was for a loving relationship. My parents loved each other. Many people had happy relationships. They didn't have divorce. They didn't expect or need high levels of ecstasy and romance. When you fall in love, you're having kind of a spiritual, ecstatic experience. And historically, my parents had that, but in their context that they lived, that was called the honeymoon period. Everybody expected the romance to go away, and that's just a nice experience to have in the beginning, and it would go away. Today, people want that all the time, and they're not getting it, and so they're disappointed. And in that disappointment, a lot of people have given up on it, as opposed to recognizing the very shift in relationships actually creates the opportunity to experience a higher level of passion, but we need new skills to do it, and we're not being taught them. So what I mean by that is traditionally, a man provided for his family. And when he's providing for his family as a man, he's producing a male hormone called testosterone. He feels needed by his wife. She can't have a job. She doesn't have a job. She's vulnerable. She needs a protector. She doesn't want to go places alone to the movies or whatever. She wants a companion, a man who can protect her and then provide for her, who also makes it safe for her because he's married to her. He's committed to her because a younger woman's not going to come take him away. He's capable of holding on to that commitment. 3 very important things. And so she really relished that. That was what she needed most. Now, times have changed. And
So,
women...
What are these 3 important things you were saying? Commitment?
Commitment, and that he had a job and could provide for her, and he could provide safety. And providing safety was not just big in muscles, although that was helpful. It was he didn't get angry. See, there used to be a message. I grew up, you never hit a woman, and you never get angry at a woman. I don't know how these men, this was strong messages in my generation. So anger is very threatening to women. Historically, when men were angry for thousands of years, you have to realize when an man was angry, a woman was destitute. She could either die through violence or he would get rid of her. And this is the deepest fear that women have, is to be abandoned. If you're, I teach in China, and still, if a woman is divorced, she's seen like a left, what's wrong with her? Yeah. They have a very strong belief there, which is funny. I'm so successful in China. Okay, I travel thousands of people come to my talks in China because they still realize the importance of men and women. Okay, but everybody there wants to meet my wife. All the women want to meet my wife because they think she must be the most amazing person in the world, because they know a great man always has a great wife who supports him. And so today we don't have that awareness. See, there really is a dynamic of a man being successful and feeling good about himself. He's being loved. He needs to have the love of a woman. And we've forgotten the value of women in relationships and the value of men in relationships. Because what happens when women don't need a man for finances, when a woman doesn't believe a man can learn not to be angry and also can provide safety for her. You see, little boys are being taught today to talk about their emotions. You're supposed to go to therapy, you're supposed to talk about your feelings. What this does, it makes men more emotional. When men are more emotional, when they feel threatened, they get angry and they lose control. You know, it used to be the process, since we're comparing past and now. If you want to be a man, you went to the army and you would stand in a line and the drill sergeant would say mean, humiliating things to you. And you would say, yes, sir. You learn to suck it up. You can't show emotion. You have to contain your emotions. You can't just blurt out what you feel. You can't act on your negative emotions. You learn that self-control. Males don't have that today because they have too much female hormones. Male hormones allow you to detach. And that doesn't mean that you can't have nurturing other people's feelings. You can empathize, you can care, but you have to not be me, and get angry and throw a fit. This is like completely shuts a woman down and weakens the relationship dramatically. So that's the thing about safety, is because my father didn't get angry, rarely got angry. It'd be at the kids primarily, never at my wife. And then it was like, good, get those kids in order. We had six boys in the house. Yeah, all right, bend over. You know, it was the man, okay? And my mother could depend on him. When you can depend on someone for something of value to you, you feel more love. If you don't depend on anybody, you have no love. And when you have no love, you don't know what you're missing. See, this is depending on someone, it produces the hormone estrogen. Whenever you're in love, your estrogen levels are doubling. They shoot up. See, women need 10 times more estrogen just to be happy. And women need 20 times more estrogen to be in love. And we want those feelings, and we can have those feelings. But in the past, couples couldn't sustain the being in love. They loved each other. Women felt love for their partner. Men were responsible for their partners, took care of their partners, and there was love between them. Now something's happened. Women are more on their male side, more independence. See, the opposite of depending on someone for something of value. The word dependence, I even have to qualify to, oh, I can't be dependent on anybody. Of course you're dependent. I'm dependent on air. I'm dependent on you to have this interview. I'm dependent on food to be healthy. I'm dependent on the gym, dependent on my coach. I'm dependent on my children, you know, to be responsible. I'm dependent on my wife for one of the most important things in the world, unconditional, not unconditional, but love. She appreciates me. She trusts me. She doesn't trust me to be perfect. Nobody's perfect, you see, so she's forgiving.
Not even you.
Yes, always. So, well, the kind of things I did, just to put it on the table, I get so involved in my work, I would be late to dinner a lot. That would really bug her. And I walk through the house, I forget to turn off lights. I'm really sort of, wherever I'm going, I'm there. Okay, so I've been asked by the professor, which in the beginning was cute, but became very annoying later. But see, what's happening is when women don't depend on someone, then the estrogen levels start to go down and the male hormones start to go up. So what I'm seeing now is that if you want to experience passion, you need, for women, she needs both testosterone and estrogen. And for men to experience ecstasy and passion, which I experience on a regular basis. I'm 71 years old. Unlike all my buddies and friends, I have sex nearly every day, and it's orgasmic and it's not quick. Okay. So that's part of retirement for me is more time, more sex. Okay. As well as more time with my children and my work and so on. But it's all filled with estrogen. Making love, a man's estrogen goes up. But if he doesn't have enough testosterone, the interest in sex goes away. It's like, here, let me give you an example. Sex drives, interest in sex for men is all about testosterone levels. In her presence, my testosterone goes up. It may be a man goes to his job and he's solving problems, his testosterone goes up because he feels successful. But he comes home to his relationship in the presence of his wife, his testosterone goes down. Exactly. He doesn't anticipate success. So he loses interest in sex. He doesn't have that same motivation that he used to have for the relationship, for the family. So some people say, he's talking about science and hormones. What is all this? Well, where's the research to prove it? Just for those who go, where, show me the research. Just do a Google search for healthy testosterone levels, healthy estrogen levels for women. Compare. For women, when they're happy, their estrogen levels are 10 times higher. When they have an orgasm, they're 20 times higher than a man's. Okay, so there, it's simple logic. Now for a man, when he is happy and fulfilled, his testosterone levels will be 10 to 30 times higher than a woman's. If they're not, he will be stressed. He will have low energy. He will be angry. He will be irritable. He'll have anxiety. He can't sleep well. And he definitely doesn't have an interest in sex with his partner, but he can have sex with interest in someone else. See, why is that? Oh, everything is paradoxical. It takes a little bit of understanding these mysteries of life. Once you get the biology of men and women, it all makes sense. So we're going to hold that thought. I have to give a foundation why men are more interested in pornography today than a real woman. It's happening.
Because they can win with porno movie, but they cannot
Exactly,
win.
exactly. That's to put it very simply. Yes, you answered the question, so I'll let you answer it. So now the next Google search is look at what raises testosterone in men. So there's a lot of studies out there showing that when a man's football team wins, his testosterone shoots up. That means he feels great, right? Alive. I'm a winner. This is such common sense. I'm successful. I win. I get there. Yeah. And then you can say, for a woman, her team, she's successful. I win. Her testosterone goes up. But women don't need so much testosterone. What women need is estrogen. Estrogen produces in the body in a variety of ways, but simply put, when you feel safe, you can depend on others, your estrogen goes up. If you go to a doctor, your estrogen goes up. Just that, knowing that I can get what I need at the doctor, if you believe in doctors or the doctor you have, your estrogen levels will go up. If you have a friend who cares about you, who values you, sharing with them, your estrogen will go up.
Massage.
And massage. Now, massage is very interesting. Massage produces another hormone called oxytocin, non-sexual touch. All forms of non-sexual touch, affection, will produce lots of oxytocin. Now, oxytocin says, I'm safe. When you feel safe, then you feel, I don't have to do it myself. I can just relax and let someone do it for me. Yeah. So, you can, as a woman, you can use a vibrator and do it for yourself. You'll just make testosterone. Okay. And if you have a man touching you, loving you, kissing you, it's a whole different experience. But women have replaced men even sexually with their vibrators. I mean, that proves that lessens in a woman's ability to be attracted to a man. A man doing pornography literally lessens his ability to be turned on to a real woman. There's dynamics here. So let's look at another Google search on testosterone, and you'll see testosterone levels. We're at a crisis right now. Testosterone levels in males are 20% lower than they were just 20 years ago. Yeah. Okay, for every age group. And in every age group, they're going down, down, down. Now, there's exceptions to this. They're just not the mass. I'm an exception in that my testosterone levels are 50% higher than when I was a young man. That's why I'm having sex literally every day. Okay. And very happy, very fulfilled, very still motivated in my work, still involved in my relationship. So this is because I have relationship skills. Now, the foundation is I feel good about myself. My partner feels good about herself. But then now I have the skills to help her go from being a man, her job, to coming back to being a female. Yeah. If our relationship helps her go from being masculine back to her female, now she has both testosterone and estrogen, which is the magic formula for orgasm in women. See, women, the way a woman's biology is such, and you can see the little charts on this, their estrogen levels reach a peak if they're cycling, it will go to a peak automatically. She's ovulating, which means, and of course, her desire for sex by studies is greater at that time, because obviously her body can make a baby, and the primitive level, sex makes babies. So who can I have babies with, right? So attraction for masculinity increases at that time. At that time, look at the hormones in her body when she's most attractive and wanting to have sex. Her estrogen levels have hit a peak. And as they're starting to peak 2-3 days before she's peaking, now automatically her without a job, without feeling successful in life, without all the male aspect of her, just being feminine, her estrogen, when it goes so high, then her testosterone will start rising. That creates the desire for sex. The high estrogen creates the pleasure in sex, the potential to enjoy sex, but the desire for sex happens when her testosterone goes up. Now, if a woman has low estrogen and she has high testosterone because she's busy doing jobs and setting her goals, that's going to produce
Which
testosterone.
many women today have.
Right. So your testosterone up, but it's not going up because your estrogen's high. It's going up because you're on your male side. So today, women have access to their male side more than ever before, which means great. She can have desire for sex more. But she has to balance that with her high estrogen if she wants the orgasm, if she wants to have that ecstasy in sex. Otherwise, it's more like just using a vibrator, which is a very different type of orgasm. Freud actually made this distinction. He didn't have the biology behind it, but we called it immature orgasm as opposed to a mature orgasm, a vaginal orgasm through penetration with a partner. Touching the clitoris, just touching the clitoris alone will produce a release. He called that an immature orgasm. And that's nice if that's all you got, but unfortunately, it inhibits your ability to enjoy the bigger orgasm, which is the vaginal emotional love orgasm.
And closeness, to have a man with you versus air.
Yes,
And
saying
over
it.
there
That's right.
touching.
You're missing out. See, the closeness, the body around you, holding you, protecting you,
Ugh.
that's producing your, first it's producing your oxytocin, then it produces the high levels of estrogen because it feels good. When something feels good and you feel safe, then it feels better and better and better because you're going, oh, I can just surrender into this good feeling, surrender into this good feeling. So as far as women and their orgasmic potential, the whole idea is never try to become aroused. Allow him to do it for you. Never try to have an orgasm. Never even have the goal to have an orgasm. But the goal is simply to enjoy his touch. If you just go with enjoying his touch, you're going to be much more orgasmic. It will come in waves. But in the beginning, if it's not, you don't set that as a goal. Your goal is just to feel pleasure, to have him doing things for you, and your appreciation of that and your enjoyment of that. It's your enjoyment of that that corresponds with estrogen going higher and higher. When you're enjoying something, estrogen is going higher and higher. At that time, your body makes pheromones. Those pheromones stimulate his body to make more and more testosterone. When his body raises testosterone in response to you, then those pheromones come out of him that raise your estrogen. So there's actual research showing that a woman's pheromones going up causes a man's testosterone to go up. A man's pheromones, which is when his testosterone goes up in the presence of a woman, she literally has in the nose a little flap up here to smell, is this man there for me? Am I the object of his interest? Is he there for me? Is he turned on to me? That then raises her estrogen higher. So this is amazing. We are reciprocal to each other. And there's no other situation in the world other than a male female coming together in this way. Two women can generate something, but usually it goes away very quickly. Now, I don't judge that because for many heterosexual couples, it goes away quickly, but it doesn't have to with heterosexual couples. This is very interesting. Male couples as well, male on male doesn't produce the estrogen. So there's always this insatiable desire to have sex with somebody else. It's when you have sex with someone, your testosterone goes up and your estrogen goes up, then you can experience this higher level of ecstasy. So in the past, my mother wasn't so much on her male side, more on her female side. She was very happy and fulfilled. She had a man, she appreciated him, but her male side wasn't so developed as women today. But when your male side is developed, then you have both masculine energy and feminine energy at the same time. That's that magic ecstasy feeling that we have in the beginning of a relationship. And why do we have it in the beginning? Well, it's very important. The novelty, the newness, I mean, this is a new woman. I've never saw her naked body, and it's a new man. What's it going to be like with him? The newness automatically raises both estrogen in women and testosterone in men, and raises testosterone in women and estrogen in men. The newness, dopamine, causes this surge of hormones in both men and women, which creates this amazing mixture of ecstasy. But what happens then is as you're in a committed relationship, things settle down. You get more serotonin, more relaxation. You feel comfortable. You feel easy. That tends to inhibit that newness. It's familiar. So what we want in most sex therapy, what they'll teach couples to do is we'll go new places, go new and different things. And well, that's okay. There's another solution. The solution is without the high dopamine or the serotonin, what you do is you have relationship skills that directly increase testosterone in men and directly increase estrogen in women, and they're not dependent upon newness. Okay, because I know my wife been with her a long time and the arousal is still there because we have relationship skills that create the attraction. When testosterone is up in men and estrogen's up in women, there is this attraction. When you don't have that, then you're dependent on newness. Now, once the passion goes away, then you get a lot of these books that, oh, you need to use whips and you need to do fantasy, you got to act these things out, you're trying to create newness in all these different ways.
Exactly.
That's stimulating dopamine. You're going back to this immature love, which is based upon newness and dopamine. What we want to do is mature into a place of, for the man to feel, my wife gives me meaning in life. Okay? Every man, testosterone goes up when you feel meaning. What is meaning? When I do something that's helpful to someone, of value to them, when I provide value to someone, that gives me a sense of meaning, and that raises my testosterone. And this is where men have to feel successful in providing the support a woman needs. And a woman has to feel, I need that. Now, one of my clients, she's a multimillionaire woman. Her husband makes $1 million. These are up-to-do people, right? He makes $1 million a year. She has 10 times that, all right? So she doesn't need him. She can only see what are the problems, not enough. Even though they have a life that anybody would dream of, not enough. Now he doesn't make enough money. He should make more. The house should be better. They should have another house. Everything is not enough. And I said to her, if you didn't have $10 million, you couldn't make 10 million a year. Okay. If you didn't have that money and you had a husband who made $1 million, you'd be so much happier today. Yes. He said, you're right. I'd be so lucky to have this guy. So that's just a metaphor for women today. They don't need men. So what do you need a man for? You need a man to help you come back to the happy place. Not just sex. Sex is part of it. It's making love. And it's not just physical. It first has to be emotional. And many women don't know what they need. And you kind of go, what do you mean I don't know what I need? I know what I want. But you come to me. No, you don't really know what you need. But you can't know what you don't know. For example, when COVID hit and everybody many older people at 80% were all over 80. What happens when people are over 80? They get sick easily. It wasn't that bad of a virus, but they got sick. 80% of the people who died are over 80. Yeah. So, and what are those? All those over 80 people are deficient in vitamin D. So they don't know. They're not walking around going, gee, it's terrible virus. Oh, I'm so scared. No, they don't know what they need. See, what they needed was a physiology that would make vitamin D out of sunshine. So they need sunshine and they need a good gut that will convert sunlight into vitamin D, and then they're fine. And
but they stay in a lockdown and deplete the D vitamin even more.
Exactly. So the point I'm kind of making there for fun is you don't know if you don't always know what you need. If you knew what you needed, then you could easily just go and get what you needed and fix the problem. So what I'm saying today is when women are on their male side, they don't really know what they need to be happy. And they're looking to a man to make them happy when first they have to make themselves happy. A man can only make you happier, unless it's that newness stage where there's free hormones, free hormones. But you basically, your estrogen goes from 10 times more than a man's to 20 times more through a man's support. That's my little dog in the back. which, by the way, since we're talking about estrogen, for women, having a pet is really amazing because you can pet these dogs. That's physical touch. There's affection to the dog and the dog appreciates you. And where I live, this is a very upscale neighborhood, and all the women basically they're doctors and lawyers, and the men are doctors and lawyers are .com people. All right, so they're all rich because they're stocks and they work hard. Well, none of them have sex lives. Okay, the sex lives are over. Just for fun, one of my daughter's schools when she was growing up, now she's not there, but that particular school, they do fundraisers for the school, and the way they do fundraisers is they have key parties. You know what a key party is?
No.
You have to be invited to this club to raise money for the school. You put your car keys into the men put the car keys into the bucket, and the women pick the key out, and they have sex that night. This is such I don't know the way to say it is that we've lost love. You see, there's no love. All there is addiction to pleasure, and addiction to pleasure depletes us of love, ironically. So when the male is having his pleasure with pornography, this is what happens. The brain becomes dependent upon the high dopamine produced by fantasy sex. Fantasy sex produces high dopamine, so he gets a rush of high testosterone. And then with a woman he knows, there's no fantasy. See, reality can't turn you on. There's an actual process in the brain, the addictive process, but high dopamine stimulation, say cocaine. If you take cocaine, that's high dopamine stimulation. And actually pornography is close to that, particularly in the very beginning. What will happen with cocaine is in one taking, you'll lose 30% of the brain neurons for dopamine. And now they will grow back. They will open up. They don't actually die. They open up. But it's going to be a while. That's why you go through this detox and this withdrawal symptom before you can be happy again. So when you're dependent on the high dopamine stimulation of whips and chains and changing roles and all this crazy
Neighbors.
stuff. What was that?
Neighbors. Keys.
Right, keys, right. So the newness, when you're dependent upon the newness to produce your hormones, what happens is the newness desensitizes, that's another way of saying it, the dopamine receptor sites. And now you only get excited if you get more and more newness, and familiarity does not have the power to stimulate you. So basically your partner can't turn you on. And what happens for young men is they can't even get turned on. They can't even get it up with a new relationship with a girl, maybe once, and that's it. Because there's too much familiarity, too much reality of safety. Here's another person, I care about them, they love me. Maybe you've had some conversations, some dates, it's over. So people can't sustain the physical attraction because their brain is addicted to high dopamine stimulation. And so many women are walking around going, just where are the men? Where are the men? No men are good enough, because they're addicted to complaining. Okay, you see, fear is a big dopamine stimulator. So if you don't trust men, you fear men, your brain looks for evidence that men are not good enough. They're going to leave you. They won't be there. They cheat you. And some men do, without a doubt, but they're a small percent. But your brain's always going to say, oh, that's a man. Immediately you go into fight or flight. And so no man is going to be good enough unless you have relationship skills that can balance your testosterone with your estrogen. And that's all it takes. So the modern woman, I started out saying the paradox is the thing that's keeping us from having successful relationships is actually the potential to go higher. Women having more testosterone and men having more estrogen. Because just as when women are doing, the way men react whenever a woman does something is, oh, good, I don't have to do it. Women have to realize this is, we are different beings. We have a gene. Now, this is just for play to make a point, but it's the efficiency gene. A man only feels, don't do anything unless I have to do it. Don't want to waste any time, even though he'll sit there and waste time. But he thinks I'm saving my energy for the emergency when it's coming. You know, it's like a fireman. They just sit around all day long till then they have big burst of energy. The hunter, he's sitting in the woods all the time, waiting for the emergency. So men, we're over here waiting for the emergency, which will give us a big burst of testosterone. And so solutions have to do with women are the emergency. Women need your help. And one of those powerful places women need your help are the kind of help that will raise her estrogen. So we need a language, we need to understand this, and then you come into all the basic suggestions that I make. Like, for example, a big one is men listening. But see, it's not just men listening, it's women also sharing.
Yes.
You know, women have to be vulnerable. They have to reveal what's inside of them, their fears, their insecurities, their doubts. Here's like a practical takeaway that you'd have to have a conversation to explain to your partner why you're doing this. But and even while making love, a woman can say, "Do you love me?" And then a man says, "Yes, I love you." "How much do you love me?" "Oh, I love you so much." And then as she's starting to come, "Tell me more, tell me more. I love you, I love you, I love you forever." See, you can have conversation in sex. You can have conversation when you're hugging, always. I do 4 hugs a day, 4 hugs. Every time you give a woman a non-sexual hug, oxytocin increases. See, oxytocin goes up when it's non-sexual, but then she enjoys sexual hug because her estrogen levels go above normal. So 10 times, let's say 10 times is normal. Then when a man can take you from normal up, now you start having romantic feelings. So non-sexual hugs are like the best foreplay. Driving her, oh my gosh, driving can be the best foreplay if men understand the power of driving in a way that makes a woman feel safe.
And if she doesn't complain, go to next lane, do this, do that.
That's right. And that's the other side of it. Okay. So now what's hard for women, okay, is that when their body is low in estrogen, the body is looking for ways to create estrogen. So it will worry because that will produce dopamine, and dopamine raises their estrogen. And then they'll make it even worse. They'll complain about what they're worried about or what they want more of and what they're not getting. So they're basically trying to feel good by not feeling good. And that will temporarily make them feel good, but their life gets worse because they're complaining. In the same way that a man feels good masturbating or doing pornography, it feels good, but then afterwards it just feels awful. It feels awful. So he ends up feeling awful. For the woman who complains, she feels better, but then her life gets worse. Because if you're complaining, your brain is learning, look at bad things and complain about them, and you'll have more connection in your brain to look at bad things rather than look at good things. This is like we're ruining ourselves in our relationships. And so many people choose not to be in relationships, and they tend to think it's the other person's fault. And it's really always our side of it if we can learn what we can do. And we're talking to women. Well, what can you do to bring back that connection with your partner?
Exactly.
Here's a philosophy. We need connection. Men need connection. Women need connection. But we connect in different ways. Understand it. Connection is what we need. All right. So feminine side of us is receptive. It receives. So if I do something for you and you receive me, I feel connected to you and you feel my connection to you. See, it's simple. I go into your world, do something, and you receive it with love. Now we're feeling connected. That's the whole dance. That's the dance. Is I'm there, I go to you, you receive it and appreciate me. Now, that's the first step, at least, of the dance. There's further. Once you feel love and appreciation for what a man does for you, then you naturally want to do something for him. And that feels good. And the brain remembers. When I do something for him, it feels good. But that's all the brain remembers. It doesn't remember that I felt good because he did something for me. See, women have to focus on how can I receive first, then give. Every woman who's ever been in my office who's been unhappy about some man, something in the relationship, will almost always say, I give, and I'm empty. I get nothing back because they're not good at getting back. See, to appreciate is to receive. To forgive is to receive. To trust, to lean on, to depend is to receive. But they're not good at being feminine. And so what happens is they feel so hurt by that. Not all, you trust someone to be perfect. Obviously, they're not perfect. So when they're not perfect, you feel disappointed. When women can't talk about disappointment with someone, a friend or whatever, their estrogen levels go up and they feel good. Then they need to do the next step, which is, now let me see how unrealistic my expectation was, or how I contributed to the problem. Those are two things that Men Are From Mars has helped so much for women and men, to realize our expectations are so unrealistic. See, unrealistic expectation. If he loves me, he should do this. If she loves me, she should do that. So let's bring that back to dopamine and serotonin again. The newness of a relationship stimulates dopamine. That raises a man's testosterone. So he's automatically motivated. He's thinking about her. He's doing things for her. He's planning things. He has the energy to do these things because dopamine has raised his testosterone. When familiarity sets in, he doesn't have that free dopamine. He doesn't get that free testosterone. He loses motivation. Mm-hmm. She's so disappointed. Here was this guy who was so motivated, doing, interested, caring, all that stuff, patient. This was symptoms of testosterone. Where did it go? Well, the newness isn't there. Yeah. Where does it come back? It comes back by relationship skills. And I'll explain some of those. On the other hand, when she has the newness. So a woman dating a guy in that newness of the relationship, she's thinking, wow, this is a great guy. He's so motivated. He's so there for me, whatever. And she has the unrealistic expectation that he's always going to be that way. Mm-hmm. No, the dopamine did it. Now she has to learn how she can do it. And she can, when she learns my stuff, she can get that testosterone up. Meanwhile, men's disappointment in relationships. When I'm taking a woman on a date, I take her out to the restaurant. Oh, is this so great? Even though I didn't get reservations. Oh, but we get to wait in line together. 10 years later, why didn't you make reservations? Are you kidding? This always happens. These spending time together in the beginning of the relationship. My experience as a man, she's so easy to make happy. I called her and she's happy. I do little things. She's happy. Amazing. Then we make the big mistake. We think she'll always be happy. And then next big mistake, we think, well, those are the little things I did for her. Now I'm going to do big things. I'm going to commit. I'm going to try to provide for her. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to care about my family. That's the big stuff. Why do I have to do the little stuff? But the big stuff doesn't work. It was the little stuff that made her fall in love with you. See, it's little actions of attention, affection, touch, acknowledgement, validation, all those little things. Yes, when he's looking at you, when he notices you, those those things stimulate estrogen in her, and how she responds to when he does things for her and her appreciation of what he provides. But if he's just providing money, it's not enough today, because money doesn't do it unless you're really hungry. If she can't make money, but she can make money today. Most women, they have good jobs. They can make it. To the extent she's successful making money, the less she needs a man. Need is the basis of love. People don't understand this. If you need something and I do it for you, you feel more love for me. It's very conditional, but that's the foundation of life.
It's maybe not politically accurate, politically correct, but it's scientifically accurate.
Absolutely.
And let's be honest, not just sugarcoat stuff.
Just like that stuff.
Yes. So John, the main question here is, I'm having two women in mind. Yes. They're both with kind of younger men, 30s, and he comes home, he's grumpy, doesn't want to plan vacations, doesn't want to plan anything. We haven't had sex in 3, 4, 6 months. And I just feel untouched. I feel unloved. I am angry. Both of us are starting to argue over little stupid things, when something like a good lovemaking would actually solve it.
It sure would.
What is she to do?
Well, a good lovemaking only happens after you handle a bunch of other problems and you have a good lovemaking. Then the good lovemaking makes the other problems get smaller and smaller and smaller. Yeah. Now, all my books always talk about relationship skills outside the bedroom, because that's a beginning. Yes. But you don't sustain it unless you have a good relationship in the bedroom
as well. Exactly.
I could be, if I didn't have sex for a while, I'd become very irritable and grumpy too.
Women are listening to you thinking, oh my God, I wish my husband is like that. I wish he wants me every day. I want to marry John Gray.
But how do you create that motivation in a man? And practically speaking, you're hearing me talk about one part of my life. A big part of my life is I travel. I'm gone for 3 days. I'm gone for 4 days, and then I come home. See, I have time to be away from my wife. That's called cave time, my work time. So I'm away. When men are away, they feel very up. So I'm like a warrior out there. I'm fighting the battle of, all these crazy people thinking that we're not that we're all the same. I get a lot of, it's war sometimes. So I'm out there, but I feel successful at it. I am successful at it. I help people. My life has meaning. And the fact that I can bring home money is meaning to my wife. That means a lot. So that keeps my testosterone up. So that's me. My job is to have testosterone go up. My relationship brings it up higher when she can appreciate what I bring to her. Now, let's not just put this all on women, but it's also all on men. How can a woman appreciate a man if he doesn't do things for her? Exactly. But how can he do things for her if he doesn't know what will make her happy? Okay. And if when I do it, it doesn't make her happy. In the beginning, I took her to a restaurant and she was happy. Now I take her to a restaurant and she's just unhappy with me because I'm not talking. Okay. There's always finding a reason to be unhappy with him. So there's a dynamic of personal responsibility as a foundation for a good relationship. And then once you have your happiness, where you're not blaming your unhappiness on your partner, now you have to spark the connection. So it's whoever is going to spark the connection. Now, I know mostly women are listening. Is that correct, Helena?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what can a woman do to restore the connection in a relationship? And I was getting at that before, which is, if I want to connect with you, I can go into you, or you could come into me, right? Either way, it's connection. Well, not having a sex in a relationship, you're not feeling that spark. What's happening is there's no connection, but it has to be the right kind of connection. The connection is man puts it in and woman enjoys it. Okay? This is very key. It's very biology. It's everything. He has to do something for her to make her fulfill a need. And then her appreciation of that builds his testosterone. Okay. And he also feels connection when she says, good job. It's like, those football players, there's cheerleaders out there. Yay, yay, team. That's what keeps it going. Everybody's applauding in the stages. Look what they're busting their ass to win this game, to be heroes. And everybody's going, yay, you're hard guys. And they're anticipating that they're going to get that love. So we need that. She needs to anticipate he cares about her. He needs to anticipate she appreciates him. These are two very different messages.
Yeah.
She appreciates what I do for her. What she needs to get from him is that he cares about me. So how do you get me to care about something? Well, my daughter today just went to the hospital. Well, immediately I shut down. I'm on the case. All right. So it's not a bad thing, but I care. That's that energy. I'm going to solve a problem. I'm going to get what it alerts me.
Yes.
So I'm going to do something for her. That's the connection. Now, women, once you get clear, this is male and female. If there's no connection, talking is a major thing humans do to connect, but it's primarily a thing women do.
Yes.
90% of the complaints about no talking are women.
Yes.
There's a reality for this. When women talk and somebody listens, their estrogen goes up. When her estrogen goes up, this is 90% of the women who come to talk therapy of people are women. If they talk, that what you're doing when you're talking, you're saying, open up and see me. And I see you. I go in there and say, oh, you're so pretty. You're so beautiful. Oh, I'll help you. When I go in, we connect. But what happens is the communication breaks down and then there's no talk. So she asks him a question. And then she says, tell me more. And what else? And I want to know what you're thinking and what's going on. Are you upset with me? Are you mad with me? Well, why are you mad with me? And he stays quiet. You know why he stays quiet? First of all, he doesn't need to talk. That just makes estrogen. If he's not feeling connection with her, already his testosterone is very low. The worst thing he can do is talk. Talking produces estrogen. He needs testosterone. Silence creates testosterone. I'm not talking, but I'm solving a problem.
So he needs silence, she needs talking.
Yes,
how do they sync? Okay,
the way they sync is I listen and don't speak, and you talk. And so it's a real simple thing. Now I'm going to say a joke here. I hope people appreciate it. It's just a joke, but I enjoy saying it. When men go into women, women are happy and men feel successful to connect. But when a woman tries to connect with a man by going into him, he doesn't have a vagina. So what does she get? That's right. I didn't say the word to be polite. If you're trying to go into a man, you get the worst of a man. He becomes feminized. You ask him what he's feeling. You ask him what he's thinking. You ask what happened today. Let's create conversation, because she knows if she was to have conversation, if she can talk and he listened, there would be connection. But women don't trust that men will listen because men don't know how to listen. So this is where you can teach a man this stuff. Even if he never heard John Gray, all this stuff you can teach him in a clever way. You have to learn cleverness to teach, okay? You can't, otherwise you're putting him in a one-down position like he's the problem. Yes. You have a problem. Yeah. Whenever you have a problem, you put him up and he wants to bring you up. If a man has a problem, you like that one. Yeah. But if a man has a problem, it puts you up and now you're his mother. Yeah. See, when women go above, they're nurturing. When men go above, yes, they rescue, they build up, they want to elevate you. So he will do that. And that raises his testosterone, is when you have the problem and he's not the problem. Now, when you have the problem, the number one way men stop listening is your problem is him. Whenever you make the man the problem, he can't hear you. Just forget it. No, he has to always explain, okay, unless he's highly trained. Okay, now I'm highly trained. You can make me the problem, and what goes on inside of me, if I'm training men, I train men, but still it takes a long time. If a woman is upset with me and I can hear her like I have a bulletproof vest, they say, shoot me again, shoot me again. And I should say, Brian, just hit me, will you? Just bang on my chest, go ahead. And then she used words, and I could stay in love with her while she's doing that. Her estrogen just shoots up. Because what it means is, no matter how bad, in her world, no matter how bad I am, he still loves me. So your estrogen levels go up because it makes you safe. Women are walking on eggshells all the time, afraid of angering men, afraid of irritating men, afraid of men, not hearing what they say. So it kills their estrogen. So you have to remember, there's grades in school, there's grades to get this. You got to build up what you've lost, okay? You do it by realizing men need to feel successful. One of the things women need, okay, is to talk about what they feel. All right, so that's an important thing. But when they do that, they always want to talk about their feelings regarding him. Okay, I feel ignored. I feel neglected. I feel you don't care. I feel like your work's more important. I feel like I'm not important to you. So these basic feelings start coming up, and then stories to justify those feelings. He can't hear that. So let's be realistic. And I know you have some fantasy where you can share anything. And in the beginning, you could share anything because you didn't have evidence that he's bad, okay? It's all new. You're talking about something else. So,
and he's waiting for you to talk so he can get to the bedroom with you.
Well, once men realize that, then he will, okay? That's what I'm teaching men. Men, if you can stand there, there's a love guarantee, okay? You're a hero if you don't react to what she says in a negative way. Men don't know. So you just say to men, you can say, honey, see, you have to be able to talk about things that you don't share with others. This is what creates intimacy. I'm going to share something with you that I don't tell anybody else. Well, that makes you very special, doesn't it? Okay, that's intimacy. Teenage girls bond with each other by sharing secrets, share secrets, fall in love. Okay. So throughout your day as a woman who's working in the world, there's a lot of feelings that come up inside of you that you would never tell that person. You would never tell anybody. You even ignore those things because you're so much like a man. See, men, it's water off the back. Well, that's no big deal. Well, I can't handle that. Well, forget that. Well, that's what happens. Life is shit sometimes. Just move forward. That's the way our male side deals with emotions. And it's good. It's good. That's masculinity. I know all these people say, oh, share your feelings, men. No. And I know women go, I want to feel his feelings. No, what you need is him to feel your feelings. And when he feels your feelings, he will be feeling you. And that's his feelings. He wants to feel compassion. He wants to feel empathy. He wants to feel joy for you. He feels interest in you. So this is what you want, is him to feel what you feel, not to hear his feelings. Forget about feelings, okay, for men. Get him to listen. So you have to learn a new thing to share with him. Not anything negative about him that could be construed as negative about him, but you've got all these feelings today at work. Oh, today I was so frustrated. Here's an example. Oh, I'm so glad to see you. I just wanted to tell you about my day. I'll feel so much better. Okay. He goes, what's this? And then you're going to say, now, I just need to talk about this for 10 minutes. You don't have to say anything. Can you give me just 10 minutes? Don't say anything. Or actually, all I need to do is vent this out. Just let it out. And he'll go, okay, all right, I can do 10 minutes. No more than 10 minutes. 10 minutes. The next thing, And that's all I need. I'll feel better. He goes, I know it's a mystery to you, but actually for me, if I can just vent these feelings, things I don't tell anybody else, my estrogen levels go up and I feel more relaxed. I feel more feminine and happy, and I can appreciate you more. So he'll go, okay, let's see this crazy thing. Then you have to practice expressing what you feel emotionally. So what are the simple emotions to share? Anybody can do this, although women don't do this. They just talk about situations. Well, so-and-so did this, and then they did that, and they shouldn't do this, and this happened here, and why is there so much traffic, and the politics are awful, and they could see that's all just heady stuff. That's not feminine. That's masculine part of you. And that's good that you have a masculine part of you. So in a sense, what went wrong today, or what went really right? If it's really right, I just want to tell you, I talked to so-and-so, and they were so nice to me. I felt so happy and so grateful for the job. Well, he'll look at that. But if that's not what you're feeling, then don't share that. That's just making it up. So the flip side, if you're not feeling happy and grateful and ease and comfortable and glad, all those positive emotions, there's some negative emotions that are covering it up. So this is the practice. What negative frustrations do you have today that you didn't tell anybody? And telling somebody would be, I'm so frustrated that this computer didn't work. I'm so frustrated. Like today with Zoom. If I was to be a girl, oh, I can't believe today Zoom messed up 3 times. I don't know what's going on with my computer. Finally, I realized I had 50 other things running on my computer. So maybe that's what's messed it up. But it was so disappointing because I was late for this person and late for that person. So see what I'm doing is I'm sharing the minutia, which you might share with a girlfriend, but with emotions, okay? You don't share emotions with girlfriends because typically you assume they understand the emotion. See, if you're a woman, you say, oh, there was so much traffic on the bridge and I was late to the meeting. Another woman would know, oh yeah, that must have been so frustrating. You must have been so worried. You have so much disappointment. So you connect on an emotional level. Man's not going to connect with you on an emotional level. If you say, there's so much traffic on the bridge, my mind just goes, well, there's always traffic on the bridge. And they say, oh, it's going to be late. I said, I'm late all the time, so tell me about it. There's no connection emotionally. Yeah. So what you have to do is learn how to be a feminine woman who has emotions and have them be expressed, not about him. Oh, so-and-so said this to me, and it was really hard to hear. Actually, my feelings were hurt, and I was sad about this or frustrated about this. So here's a list of 12 different emotions that will perk a man's attention. And they happen all the time. I'm frustrated. That's the easiest. What happened? I was frustrated about this, what I wanted. And then you say what you wanted. Now you're connecting with passion. See, always behind negativity is what I want. And you don't have to do this exactly the way I'm saying, but always if there's frustration, there's disappointment. You can't be frustrated without also having some disappointment. Because if something's not disappointing, you're not going to be frustrated. That's the way it is. So share, I was so disappointed. I thought they were going to do this. My expectation was this. I thought this, and they didn't do it. Bummer. What I wish is they would do this and this and this. So that's a little vulnerability. And I'm really concerned because this happens over and over again. I don't even know if I'm going to get ahead with this person. Maybe I should just give up on that. I don't know, but it's scary. It's scary sometimes. So see how you bring emotion into it. And emotion is estrogen. When you bring emotion into it, and he connects with it. And men can always validate emotion. What they can't validate is the content about him that's causing the emotion. Okay, so it's just simple. So we can always connect with emotion. It's deep inside of us. And when you show it, we kind of go, oh, yes, I can relate to that. Oh, yes, I can relate to that. But if it's about he's a bad guy, I don't relate to that. If you have any self-esteem at all, I'll always have an explanation. So you're training him and yourself to reveal more emotion, which is vulnerability. Because why is sharing emotion such a vulnerable place to go? Because all it takes when you reveal an emotion, there's no logic always with emotion. The logic is faulty. So all somebody has to say, well, that's not really a big deal. Boom. That's vulnerable. That makes you wrong. And here you are sharing something that you've been hiding from everybody else. And he's going, well, that's stupid. But know that in the beginning, he'll think a little bit of that, but he'll think much less like that if you're talking about work. And he will tend to interrupt and say, oh, don't worry about that. Oh, really, honey, I'll be fine. I just need to share those feelings and they'll go away because I'm not really worried. Just a part of me is that. So you're coaxing a communication here. You're responsible as the woman to open up. He's responsible to be a good listener. And you train him by taking a little step in there and opening up, but telling him, I don't need you to say anything. I just need you to hear me and do your best to empathize with what I go through, and I'll be fine. And after you do that for like 6 minutes, then you focus on your positive emotions. But it's not all bad. You know, the truth is so-and-so did this, and I like this, and I'm grateful for this, and now I realize this. And then you just basically say, thanks so much for listening, and go in for the hug.
Yeah, and the fact that you're listening make me feel even more better. You
Yeah,
are
yeah.
my hero. You are my everything.
Exactly. And you'll actually begin to feel that. You can feel that, Helena. A lot of women are going, you know, why should I do all the talking? He should talk too. I don't want to just have a one-way thing. I said, question that. Why does he have to talk? Why want to get to know him? Well, let him get to know you first. And I promise you, you will learn more about him later. But everything starts with a step in the right direction. The wrong direction is trying to get to know him. In a sense, let him get to know you. And it's like, even in dating, the one in my Mars Venus on a Date books, one of the first chapters talks about big mistakes women make. One of them is asking too many questions.
Oh God,
Your job is,
interrogation.
yeah, it's not to get him talking, get him listening to you.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have to ask like a little question, like, oh, what were you doing today? So this. And oh yeah, that reminds me. Come back to me. Don't listen to him very much. Let him listen to you more. And the more you reveal what's inside. And what I've seen again and again, Helena, is that what goes on inside of women who are in a relationship with a man, so much of the time, what they're looking for is messages that he loves you, that you're still important to him. And nobody teaches them to simply say, honey, you know, now I want to just do another thing, which is practice vulnerability. Do you love me? And now you're supposed to say, yes, I love you. And I'm going to say, how much do you love me? And I'm going to say, like the stars in the sky, you know, always and forever. You know, this is what I would like to hear. Now, granted, men are not always in touch with their feelings, but they can follow the words. And if he says those words, he will start to feel it. See, men connect with their feelings through providing. See, otherwise, if I do something for someone and they appreciate it, then I feel, yes, I like doing that again. I like doing that again. They get in touch with their love. So it's literally getting him to do things. And we only talk about one thing here, which was getting him to listen to you. One of the most powerful things there is, not just because he's going to listen, because you're going to open up and share more. And what sharing more means, what is it I don't share with him? That's true is you could say, gee, when you ignore me, I feel hurt. Or you could say simply, honey, you're needing reassurance. But instead of saying, I feel hurt when you don't do that, you could say, honey, when you do this, I start to feel a little insecure. You own it. And so would you tell me you love me? And he might say, of course I love you. I said, I know, of course I love, but it just feels so good. And so you have to create a context for you to be vulnerable and say, do you love me? Am I special? Am I still beautiful? I'm getting older. Do you still attracted to me? And you're supposed to say, yes, honey, you're the only one for me. Those are the words I need to hear. I need to hear those words. And I need hugs. That's another one, 4 hugs a day. Women need to be held just 6 seconds. And they've shown that oxytocin goes up after about 6 seconds of a non-sexual hug. And occasionally whisper something in my ear like, I still love you so much. That means a lot to me. Men don't know this stuff. They don't know saying those things will actually are helpful. Of course you should know that. Why do you feel that way? Just say, look, I have an insecure little girl inside. That's all. Sometimes she needs to be heard. And then I feel better. Then I'm back to feeling my normal self. See how we massage all this so that you can be more feminine in his presence. And sometimes feeling feminine is feeling a little bit like a little girl. Yeah. And giving room for that little girl to be there. And he will see, he's your hero when you're a little girl, if he can solve the problem. If you're a little girl and he can't solve the problem, that's an unhappy little girl complaining. He didn't like that. But if you have emotions and they're not blaming him, and basically when you're sharing about your day, you're saying as well, by sharing these feelings, I couldn't share at work. I feel so close to you. Thank you for listening. I feel better. It just makes me still feel so good that I can come home and tell somebody, and somebody who really loves me, and you really love me. So I'm so grateful. See, always butter it up with some gratitude. And I know you love me and so forth.
Remember, we were speaking last time. I was sharing with you how I teach my women to be gold diggers.
Oh.
To dig for the 3 golds.
Oh.
Every day, 1 gold about your character, who you are as a man.
I remember now.
Time, reliable. 2nd gold is about how you treat me, who you are to me. And the 3rd gold is who you are in the world, World meaning family, neighborhood, all in your case, China, right? And I
Yes.
always remember you were so loving it last time when I shared.
Oh,
I
I love that. It's just absolutely brilliant. It's stunning. As a man, I love to hear it.
and
It's
I
so,
always tell women, a bee goes to the flower, bee goes to the honey. Where does the fly go? And do you want to be the bee or you want to be the fly?
oh, those are so good. You want to be the bee, and the flies bite you, and you want to get rid of them.
And fly goes on poop. I don't want to find the poop in my husband. There is, but I'm gonna find the gold.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
in sometimes I come to my husband, I feel like I'm so masculine, I need to do so much. And I'm like, this will destroy me. And I come to him and I just come and say, honey, I'm precious and fragile.
So
Deal
nice.
with me. And
So
sometimes if he is mad, he says, yeah, you're fragile like atomic bomb. But usually I just come, I'm
yeah,
precious and fragile. He said,
I want
you want to make a shirt, precious and fragile?
precious and fragile. I love it. Oh, I'm taking notes from you. Precious and fragile. You know, my wife said to me something like that. She said one time, I just want you to know right now, I'm very sensitive.
Yeah.
And I I didn't know what that meant. That meant validate whatever she says. Don't get upset. Don't have a lack of patience. This is a special moment. And whenever it seems appropriate, give her a hug. And just to know when a woman cries, okay, so if a woman is crying, maybe even you're in an argument and you're crying, what you can do, men, don't speak, just don't speak. And let there be a little silence. And they reach forward and take her hand and hold her hand with two hands.
Yes.
And she will start to melt. And then you put your arm around her and hold her to you. You can't just go right for the hug if there's argument. It's not safe for her. But holding the hand, then holding hand with two hands, and maybe even a word of I'm here. Just I'm here. If you say I love you at that moment, sometimes it'd be too much. It's too much. You see, it's a delicate thing. I'm here is the first stage. Another one is I hear you, something, but not quick on that one, because again, that's kind of making you the right person. Okay, you're humble here.
I often say wow.
Yeah, that's another one.
Wow. It's neutral.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Um, I won lottery. Wow. I lost money. Wow. Wow, it's very neutral. I'm here.
Well,
Wow.
I know a man would like that very much. If you see, that's what you can say, I think, is wow. See, part of the way men who know how to process suffering is they go together with men. They get a beer, which has some estrogen in it to make them more talkative. Okay, estrogen and beer. And then what that's going to do is allow them to make jokes. That's what men do. We make jokes about my crazy wife. You can't believe what happened. Or this is like I put everything into us and this is what I get. I mean, does life suck or what? You see, you can make fun. This is what guys can do. And people would look down at that like that's not healthy. No, that's very, very healthy, is to lighten up about things. But it's very important that when women go into their feelings, they're not feeling so light, that we go down with them and that we join them in those feelings. And we don't try to lighten her up. Never try to lighten a woman up. Let her lighten up on her own. These are the forces that we have to interact with. So back to something you asked, you mentioned, when you're no connection in your relationship, start by not making him the problem. That's the first thing. Second is, I know I'm going through a lot of stress at work today, and I haven't been giving you the love and affection that you deserve. Just say that, okay? Something like that. You taking 100% responsibility for your side. I know I haven't been so friendly the other day. I snapped at you or whatever it is. Try not to talk about the relationship. I know we're not connecting. He will take that as blame. So, I've been a
I
lot.
disrespected you last night.
Say that again.
I disrespected you last night.
Absolutely.
Take
You can say that.
responsibility, and he immediately is disarmed.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, but you have to be able to get a woman to do some of these things when she feels she's not being respected. Okay, so you start by you're the problem. okay, come from I'm the problem. And the problem is not so much in our relationship. It could be an apology. I know I haven't been as affectionate and warm as I want to be with you, but I just want you to know a little bit of what's going on in my life. It's not about you. And would you listen for 10 minutes? That's a big thing. Listen. And then start to talk about at work, there's this and this. And you'll start, as soon as you start talking about anything that you're not sharing with people at work or your children or anybody else, this is like what's going on secretly inside of you. Then he's going to interrupt and minimize it. And you have to just say, oh, you don't have to say anything. Really, I just need to bring this out into the light and it's gone. You know, I can fix this myself. No problem. I just need to share it. See, that's the communication you want to get with him. And then go for 6 minutes, and in the last 4 minutes, talk about, but what I'm grateful for, what I realize now, what I'm happy about, you know, just those 3 things. I'm grateful, I realize, I'm happy. Man, that's just a wonderful message he gets from her. It's like she did a magic trick. Like when you said, wow, and that's my reaction. My wife can talk about all this stuff in the office, and then she said, I'm so lucky, you know, I got this job and I love it. I get to come home to you. And I'm like, wow, I didn't have to do anything. And my wife's happy and I get all the credit for it. This is use your power of femininity by using a man to provide what's most important, which is back we got to getting the vitamin D, you know, getting the therapeutics that you need so that you don't get sick. Same thing in relationships. So the woman is over here saying, I want to create that connection. I want him to feel more successful. I want him to create opportunities for him to be more successful. And basically, then you practice whenever he's talking. Step 2, when he's talking, well, that's a good idea. Well, that's helpful. Well, you're right about that. That makes sense. These are powerful phrases that you could be listening to a man talk and you think it, but you don't say it. You know, it's like me. I come home to my wife. I don't tell her, I love you so much. I'm so glad I'm home. I missed you so much. We just don't say it. We feel it, or we stop feeling it because we don't say it. But when you start to say it, you feel it more. Words bring out feelings and you can bring them out more. But for women, it's there. You have to be the primary feeling one to draw him in. You're the honey.
You are the queen of hearts.
Say it again.
You as a woman, you are the queen of hearts.
Yes, I love your stuff. It's so good. It's the queen of hearts, and he's the
king. and what queen is the one who controls the kingdom, but king is the one who goes to the war.
Yes, yeah,
right?
He dies for her.
You're the queen, exactly. You're the queen of hearts, and I always say, who will be the one who to first solve the problem? Always women say, woman. Always the one who has higher emotional IQ. Which often are women. But I will not, if my husband says, okay, you take over all the payments and I will take over emotional part of the household, we would be a mess. So I know he takes care of the money, garbage, dirty stuff. And whenever there is any emotional problem between us, the Queen of Hearts solves the problem because I love myself so much, I don't want to suffer.
Always an inspiration. Women just need examples of how you can be the Queen of Hearts. They don't know how to be the Queen of Hearts today. And it was much easier in the day where women were dependent on men by our society. And once women find that masculine power inside of them, great. But now you need to restore your female power along with it. And that's these communication skills. And when you have a man who's not motivated, remember I talked about the unrealistic expectation. Being the Queen of Hearts is what motivates a man. It brings him up, literally causes him to rise up. It's a woman that does that.
And feminine superpower of patience. It's not going to happen overnight if he has been couch potato for 2 years.
That's right.
But you reclaim your throne, you beautify your throne, you smile, you self-care, you radiate.
Oh, so beautiful.
The worst case scenario, you will be happy without him.
Yeah.
The best case scenario, you're happy together.
Yeah. Wow. Beautiful said. Beautifully said. So one of the ways you can do that when he's been the couch potato, this is a big deal. This is men in your presence, their testosterone just goes down.
Yes.
Just because there was a time where he did something. Oh, he's washing the dishes and he left one out. And said, you forgot this dish. And rather than, oh, it looks so nice. See, she points out what's missing. And so when she does that, he remembers that. So why do I bother even doing it? Why do I bother trying to do a good job if I'm always going to be shut down? It only takes a few times for a woman or a man. We just close up. Yeah. So we have to get off the couch, so to speak. So here's a quick little game. It's called, I invented it during the COVID time where everybody was home, which is disastrous because the man isn't out getting his needs met there, and she's not getting her social needs met. They look to each other for too much, and they'll just be disappointed and hurt, and the worst parts of them come out. We should be forgiving of all that and just blame the government. Okay, so having said that, the game I came up with was called Genie in a Bottle. The genie is the all-powerful man. Okay, I'm all powerful. And the bottle is the woman holds the bottle and rubs the bottle. Now, that's a good metaphor for many things, but right now it's just rubbing the bottle means you get 3 wishes. And so in a period of 5 to 10 minutes, you set it out, depending on how much a couch potato he is, 5 minutes. If he seems to be pretty moving, 10 minutes. So you find let's do it for 10 minutes. And you go, okay, 5 minutes. During 5 minutes, she's not allowed to do anything for herself. And he only does what she asks him to do. Now, what she asked, now it's not like, I'd like you to always wash dishes. No, you can't do that. You say, in the next 5 minutes, would you go and clean up the kitchen? And she watches. She can't do anything for herself. She can't go do laundry while he's cleaning the kitchen. She can just sit there and watch, and she enjoys him doing it. She needs to see him doing. She can't do anything for herself. He could feed her. That's another thing. Would you make me a meal? Would you feed me? And literally, a fun thing I used to do in my workshops is have men use the silverware and feed the woman. And every bite, she'd have to ask for it, because women have to learn how to ask and anticipate getting what you want. It's a big deal. See, historically, women didn't have to ask. That's why they're not good at asking. They can only complain and nag when they're unhappy, because they picked a man who already knew what to give them. But men today don't know the importance of the little things. So you have 5 minutes, and most couples end up doing, would you go get the lavender oil and massage my right foot? And then would you massage my left foot? So for 5 minutes, he's your slave, okay? Basically, he's your partner who will do anything for you. I'm the genie. And it's not limited to 3 wishes because you're so special, but it is limited to 5 minutes or 10 minutes. And that can also work with, I just want to talk about my day. I need your undivided attention for 10 minutes. I don't need you to say anything, but give me a big hug afterwards. And they're actually better. And I'll give you a big hug afterwards because that's what I need most. So that's your genie in the bottle game. So it creates an opportunity for him to do something that would stimulate estrogen in you, which will then allow you to have an estrogen response to him that will bump up his testosterone, and his body remembers doing little things like when you were dating, gets big rewards.
But if he wants you to be his genie,
no, that's
right?
what all
it doesn't work that way, because I would not want to be his genie.
No, it only goes one way. And what's so funny is these needy men who are so on their female side, they say, well, what about me? When do I get to have her be the genie? I say, are you kidding? You have to learn your power as a man comes by providing and giving and being rewarded, not having somebody do it for you. But you should know, naturally, you will get more love as a result. Okay, we all need love, but you can't say, okay, now you should love me. She's loving you because you're doing something. You're literally evoking love out of her by taking that time. And it's a process. It starts with a little step. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger until it's a fun experience to have.
Nice, beautiful. I love it. And if she digs the gold next day, oh, honey, yesterday.
Yeah. So gold diggers. That's right. Gold diggers are great. Gold diggers. All right. I have to say goodbye to you. It's such a pleasure talking to you.
I appreciate you always so much. You're the best. MarsVenus.com. I will let everybody know and go and get your stuff. Thank you, John.
So much. Okay,
yes.